Hello and welcome to Greatness Radio. I am your host, Monica Carter Tagore, bringing you information, inspiration, and occasionally even interviews to help you show up at your best. When you've made the decision to go for your own greatness, this is the place to be. Let's get to it. You have greatness in you. Did you hear what I said? Let me repeat. You have greatness in you. So did that make you stand up just a little bit taller? Did it make you push your shoulders back just a little bit? Did it make you smile or even nod? Maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. If it did, that's wonderful. If it did not, that's okay. And here's why. You see, you've not been conditioned for greatness. You've been conditioned for the opposite of greatness. You've been conditioned for the average, the ordinary, possibly the mediocre, the common. You see, that's why so many people want to fit in. So many people want to be like everyone else. We want to be average. That's why we have the saying, keeping up with the Joneses. Everyone wants to be like those they see around them. People want to keep up with the Joneses. People want to be in line with everyone else. No one wants to stand out. Everyone wants to fit in. Everyone wants to be normal. What exactly is normal? Normal is average. Normal is what you see all around you. Normal, again, is what everyone is doing. And simply by virtue of the fact that we're talking about the average, there can be no greatness in average. There can be no greatness in the ordinary. So no, you've not been conditioned for greatness. You've been conditioned to be like everyone else. You've been conditioned to be average. But now you're called away from that because you're listening to this message. This is no accident. It's no accident that you are listening to this message. You see, it's time for you to stand up in your life. It's time for you to stand out in your life. It's time for you to do something bigger, something better, something bolder in your life. It's time for you to live and breathe your greatness. It won't be easy. It won't be easy because you've not been conditioned for greatness. It won't be easy because you will have to fight against your programming. And make no mistake, that programming is pretty serious. In fact, science tells us that we think some nearly 60,000 thoughts a day. 60,000 thoughts. And most of them are negative. In fact, 80% are negative. That is, those are thoughts about, I can't do this, I can't be this, I can't have this, I can't accomplish this, I'm not good enough for that, I'm not worthy, I am not beautiful, I am not smart, I can never be, I can never achieve, not, can't. It's a wonder we can get up in the morning. That's the thinking you've got to fight against. In fact, it's time for you to change your mind, change your thoughts. The Bible says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So it's time to renew your mind. It's time to change your mind. It's time to refresh your thinking. It's time to develop a new way of thinking. Rather than accept that your life will simply be ordinary. It'll just be the common thing. It will simply look like everyone else's. Accept the fact that you have greatness in you. Accept the fact that it's time for you to live and breathe your greatness. It's time for you to walk in your greatness. Embrace the fact that your life can be different. In fact, I believe God calls us to a great life. Yes, I believe you're called to greatness. You see, my definition of greatness is that best and that highest expression of who we truly are. In other words, when we're at our best, when things are in flow, when we are truly in alignment with who we are on the inside, when the inner us is reflected in what we're doing on the outside and what we're presenting to the world. When we are at our best And when we are doing what we feel truly called, when we feel truly compelled, what we feel truly purposed to do, and we're doing something that matters, that's greatness. And you have that potential. You have it in you to be great, to do something great. Most won't do it. In fact, it was Benjamin Franklin who said that most men die by the time they're 25, but they're not buried until they're 75. And what I believe he meant was that by the time most people get into their mid-20s, by the time most people are well into adulthood, they've died. They're dead inside. Yes, they're walking around. They're making decisions. They're having conversations. They're having children, but they're dead. You see, by the time most people get into their mid-20s, their hopes, their goals, their dreams, their visions for their lives, their ambitions, their aspirations have died. And so all that is left is a shell of who they truly are on the inside. And so they live these uninteresting lives. They live these lives that are mundane, that are ordinary, that are average. They go to work doing jobs that they really don't like, with people they can't stand. Every single day they're complaining about what they're doing. They are desperate for something new, for something different, not realizing that what they're desperate for is their greatness. They're desperate to be able to live out what is truly in their hearts. They're desperate for being able to live out what they truly are. You see, we're all here for a purpose, for a reason. And when we're able to live in accordance with that calling or with that purpose, when we're able to live with passion, that's where we get to look to our greatness. But if we're not living in that space, if we're simply going through the motions day after day, if we're simply enduring, if we're simply existing rather than living, then there's no greatness in that. So my work right now is to inspire others to be able to see the potential for their greatness, but not only to inspire, but to empower others to be able to live and breathe their greatness. And right now, a large part of my work is about being able to use my gifts to help others use their gifts to show up in greatness. And so I am blessed to be able to help people to turn their gifts into books, and into messages, and into inspiration, and into other packaged ways that they're able to share with the world, other packaged solutions they can share with the world. I am blessed to be able to help people to see what's special about themselves and to turn that special thing, that gift, into something that can be of help and of service to others. Because you see, that special thing, that gift, is not just there for our own selfish needs and interests. It's there for us to be able to bless the world, for us to be able to touch the world in some way. Yes, your gift is there to enhance your life, and is there to enhance the lives of others, if you will just use it in such a way. Imagine there are 7 billion of us on this planet. Imagine if we all embraced the possibility for greatness in our lives. Imagine if we all acknowledged and used our own gifts. Imagine if we all worked to do something positive. If we all worked to touch lives through our gifts. Just how great, yes, how great that would be. What kind of world would that be? Just think how positive that would be. And that's the challenge. Most people don't recognize that potential. Most people don't recognize their gifts. Most people don't recognize their potential, the possibility for greatness in their own lives. And so we have the world as it is. And so we have the lives as they are. Those ordinary, those mundane, those mediocre, even those common lives. That's what most people experience. But you can be different. You are called away from that. You are called to something higher. You are called to greatness. You are called to live and breathe your greatness. And there are many paths to greatness. That's the beauty of our lives. We don't all have to approach greatness in the same way. I gave you my definition of greatness, that best and highest expression of who you truly are. But maybe you have another definition, and that's okay. The point here is that you want to live and breathe and walk in your greatness. So how do you get to your greatness? What are some ways that you can show up in greatness? What are some ways that you can be great? Well, a large part of my work, as I said, is helping people use their gifts to get to their greatness, turning their gifts into greatness. But using gifts is only one part of greatness. I'll get to some other areas in just a moment. But first, let me talk about our gifts, because you have a gift. In fact, I believe life gives each of us at least one gift, sometimes more, to be able to make our way. Making our way is about making an impact and making an income. Making an impact because we've got to make a difference. Our gifts aren't here just for our own needs. We've got to touch lives in some way. And making an income because, let's be honest, we've got to be able to take care of ourselves. We've got to support ourselves and our families. We've got to make a contribution to the world. So our gifts are there to help us do that, to help us make an income, to be able to help us make an impact, to be able to sometimes even help us have influence. That's what your gift is there for. It's there for you to use, not just to have, but to use. So where can your gift show up? Well, for some, their gift is a talent. It was something they were just plain born at being good at doing. And let's be honest, they didn't earn it. They didn't do anything for it. They showed up, it showed up. For them, that talent is their gift. For someone else, for you, maybe your skill, the skill learned from doing a certain type of work over years and years, maybe that skill is your gift. For still others, their expertise is the gift. Expertise gained from going through a certain thing or learning how to do a certain thing where they've become an expert at it, that expertise, that's their gift. But for some others, the gift is the message. You know that message that is just burning in your heart, is dying to get out, is dying to get to the people who really need to hear it. And it's a message that you came about, that you received, that you got after going through a really tough time. After going through a trying time, a challenging time, a time that, quite frankly, you didn't want, you didn't invite, you did not welcome, and you may have even cried as you went through it. This was a challenging time that, even though you didn't want it, it showed up in your life. And now that you're on the other side of that thing that you just never imagined you'd have to endure, that you never imagined you'd have to experience, that thing that you never imagined would touch your life. Now that you're on the other side of that thing, you realize two facts. One is that you're still standing. You are still here. You might be a little bit bruised. You might have even fallen down from time to time, but today you're standing. And you're here. That's the first thing you realize. The second thing you realize is that you have a message. You have a message coming out of that tough time. You have a message coming out of dealing with that particular thing. You have something that you have to share. You have something you have to say. You have something that you need to convey to others. That message is your gift. For some, though, the gift may not be a talent. It may not be a skill. It may not be expertise. It may not even be a message. It may be a big idea. You know, that big idea that keeps circulating around your consciousness, the idea that just won't quite leave you, the idea that is begging you to manifest it, is begging you to bring it into reality. That idea for making something better in the world, for improving some process or something, that idea for somehow doing something different and doing something better to help others. That big idea, that may be your gift. So whether your gift is a talent or a skill, expertise, a message, or a big idea, It's there for you to use. It's there for you to use to enhance your life and to touch the lives of others. And if you do that, that will show you to your greatness. You will be able to live and breathe your greatness. But perhaps life isn't calling you in that direction just right now. Perhaps there's another way to your greatness right now. Perhaps you are being called to greatness at home. Maybe that means it's time for you to be the best parent you can be. Maybe life is calling you to be a better parent, to stand up, to somehow really pour into those children everything you can so that they can be the people they can be. They can be everything they can be. Maybe life is calling you to be the best parent you know. That means maybe life is calling you to be more nurturing, be more loving, to take more of an interest in what your children are doing. Maybe life is calling you to somehow make some radical changes in your lifestyle so that you can be that great parent, so that you can raise healthy, happy children who become contributors to the world. That's a fundamental need, and that's an amazing way to be great. But maybe you're not being called right now to use your gift. You're not being called right now to be the best parent. Maybe the calling you feel on your heart is about being the best mate you can be. Maybe life is calling you to really have a standout relationship. Maybe life is calling you to have a great relationship. What would that look like? How would that change your life? How would that inspire possibly others around? How would that touch others' lives? What would a great relationship look like to you? So maybe the calling for you is to be a great mate so you can have a great relationship. But for some others, maybe the calling you're feeling right now is about being the best physical self that you can. Maybe the calling right now is for you to get into your best shape of your life, to become as healthy as you possibly can. Maybe the calling right now is for you to finally invest the time, the effort, the work into your physical self. Maybe that's where life is calling you to be great in your physical self, to be great in your health, to look good, to feel good, to really just be good. Maybe that's where life is calling you. So there are many ways to greatness, and you don't have to approach them all at the same time. Start with one. Start with one and commit to that one and go for it. Stop being average in that area. Stop doing the mundane things in that area. Stop approaching that area with a spirit of mediocrity. Stop doing the common thing. Just stop. Go for something better. Go for something amazing. Go for greatness in that area. No, it won't be easy. Yes, you will have to fight against the programming that you've been living with for so much of your life. You will have to fight against those negative thoughts. You may even have to re-educate people around you. They may ridicule you. They may wonder why it is that you're approaching life in such a drastically different way. But don't worry about that. Just follow the calling in your heart. Go for your greatness. Go for your greatness because that's where life is calling you. So, as you go for your greatness, what book do you need to write at this time? What message do you need to share right now? What inspiration do you need to have and to hold? What new concept do you need to develop? What new music do you need to produce? What new thing do you need to do? How do you need to show up in your relationships? How do you need to show up as a parent, as a mate? How do you need to show up in your health? Where is life calling you to be great right now? Life is calling you out of that previous life of the ordinary, of the average. Life is calling you to something higher, to your own greatness. It's in you. And this is the deal. You have the greatness in you, but it won't come out simply because you know it. It won't come out even simply because it's there. Your greatness will come out because of your choices. You see, Greatness is not a destiny. It's not something we get to simply because it's there and it comes out because we are destined for it to come out, or we're purposed for it to come out. Greatness, no, it's not a destiny. It's a decision. Your greatness will come out because you choose to manifest it, because you choose to bring it out, starting with committing to it, starting with acknowledging the possibility for greatness in your life, and then committing to it. Remember, you've got to transform your mind. You've got to, again, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. You've got to change your thought process. You've got to stop simply accepting the average, the basic, the mediocre. You've got to go for something bigger than that, because you're worthy. You are worth greatness. You have greatness. You have the potential to be, do, have, accomplished, experience so much more than what you have done up to this point. So what will greatness look like in your life? How will you manifest it? How will you show it? How will you share it? Will you continue to hide from your greatness? Will you continue to possibly just not acknowledge it at all and continue to go in the same way as you have been? No, you can't do that. Live and breathe your greatness. Let greatness show up in your life. Embrace the possibility for greatness in your life, and then start to approach your life from a different vantage point, from a different perspective. Again, starting with the changed mind. Embrace possibilities. While it's true that you may not be able to control the thoughts that enter your mind, but you can control the thoughts you choose to entertain. So when you acknowledge and recognize that you're entertaining negative thoughts that are limiting you, don't entertain them. Change to something else. Change to something empowering, something positive, something that will feed your greatness, something that will nurture your greatness. And after you change your thoughts, change your actions. Because your actions become habits, and your habits become the life you live. You see, our thoughts create our reality. What we think becomes what we live. If we think we'll never be able to achieve something, we'll never be something, we'll never have something, then that's what happens. We will never achieve it. We'll never have it. We'll never be it. So that's why it's important to first change your thoughts. Attack the mind. Consciously work on your mind. And then, of course, work on your actions. Because nothing happens without action. If you want more good things in your life, more positive things in your life, then start doing more good and positive things. If you find that the life you're living right now is not quite up to what you want, then take different actions. Take better actions, more empowered actions. Actions that are leading you to the life you do want. Because your actions become habits. You want habits that are pushing you to your greatness. You want to actively live and breathe your greatness. You want that to be your habit. So you truly can embrace your greatness. You truly can live and breathe your greatness. It doesn't matter what you did before. It doesn't matter if you were living an average, ordinary, mediocre life. That's okay. What's important now is that you go and do something different. You go and do something better, starting today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to go to iTunes and subscribe. And tell a friend too, so they can live and breathe their greatness. And for more free information, inspiration, and ideas, be sure to go to monicacartertagore.com/greatness-newsletter and join the newsletter so that you get all of my best strategies, ideas, and information on freeing your greatness. In fact, go there now and you can get the Greatness Starter Collection, which is 3 free resources to inspire and inform you on your path to greatness. You have it in you. Go on. Set your greatness on fire.